So I'm yesterday minding my own business, playing golf with my boy Todd Blinko, watching him hit, I don't know, beautiful little draws in the par fives for Eagle. That's right. And then the news came down. President is resigning. I thought to myself, which president? Obama? What? Who? This guy was actually the president? No. Well, it became, I guess, official. And this is my world. Now, I don't understand a couple of things. If I'm the president of the United States, first, I agree with Biden. Boy, would it be hard to give that up, right? You mean you've lied, you've plagiarized, you've affared, you've sniffed your way, where finally you get this seat. And then it all goes away in one 90-minute debate. It all does. And, well, Pelosi's after you, Obama's after you, Clintons are after you. And when the Clintons are after you, you know what that means. That means keep your head on a swivel. But Sleepy Joe officially announced he's throwing in the towel, but he did it in a way that I don't really get. Like, if I'm the president of the United States and I am resigning, I'm sitting in that Oval Office, I have a camera on my face, and I start a speech saying, "My fellow Americans," and I put my hand like this. That's what you do. But he is dropping out of the 2024 presidential race, has endorsed Kamala Harris to be the Democratic nominee. He is going to remain as the president. So why is he not able to run his own campaign if he's able to be the president? Well, here is the speech or the letter that Biden put out. There it is, my fellow Democrats. I've decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it has been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee for our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. Well, all right. Now, that's fine, but that's on a social media website that a lot of people use, but a lot of people don't pay attention to. What is it, like only 2% of the users actually post? Why aren't we being presidential? Why aren't we standing like I am right now with a camera in my face addressing the nation? You're the president of the freaking United States. I'll tell you why. Because you can't say why you're dropping out. Think about the corner that he is in. Well, my mental health. They're going to have to come up with something because we all know physically this man is a vegetable. This man is not competent, not coherent. He has absolutely no ability to run a campaign at this point. So it does beg the question, well, why are you running the nation? Everybody always goes to the nuclear codes. Well, I don't. What I say is, why are you running the nation? Why are you making decisions that affect millions of lives? I don't know the answer to that other than the same old power. Power corrupts. Money corrupts. And that's what we're seeing. So instead of saying, you know what, for the first time in Joe Biden's life, I'm actually going to do something good for the people, well, he couldn't even do that. Couldn't even face the American people. Now, I'm sure he's going to at some point, but what chicken blank behavior? And I've told you this before. You know this. When a guy that constantly lies, constantly bullies, constantly BS's, when it comes down to it, they're chicken shit. They are. And you're seeing it. Couldn't face the people. 81 million, remember? Most popular president ever, they told us. Okay, face him. I am not running. Kamala Harris is my gal. That's it. Joy Reid, of course, chimes in. She's riding with Biden. She blames it on me. No, not me, because I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. She blames it on white people. It's got to be white people, this crazed. I love Joy Reid because we get great content from her, but it's got to be white people. Got to be. Here's Joy Reid.
Note that it is black and brown Democrats who are opposing this push out. I think there's one African-American Democrat who's for pushing Biden out. And note that it is consultants and non-people of color Democrats who are on the other side. Just an interesting thing to note. And the last thing I'll note is, where are the voters who are being asked about this, and also the people who would have the job of actually getting out this vote. They're not being asked. No one's asking them. Apparently the donors and the sort of elite Dems are just kind of doing their own thing. Weird time to be a Democrat. Let me know what you think in comments.
I love when really atrocious looking human beings try to look cute and pretty. Look, who cares? Then maybe black and brown Democrats need to wake the hell up. Maybe black and brown Democrats need to open up their eyes and see what's truly going on. Maybe white Democrats are just smart and said, this is stupid. I mean, what the hell? I mean, if we're going to go by race, I mean, okay, black Democrats, wake the living hell up and see what's obvious. The man is incoherent. I mean, if I'm using Joy Reid's logic, I don't think it's black or brown or white or anything. I just think people are like, look, this guy obviously can't do it. He's not going to win. If they thought he could win, black, brown, green, white, whatever, would say go. But they know he can't win. That's the only thing involved here. What's wrong with her? Black and black. And she's trying to be cute. Is there anything less cute than that face? I don't give a damn. If she were white, it'd be the worst looking face ever. But honest to God, okay, maybe white Democrats did kick her out. Then I got to tell you, white Democrats are smart because Biden ain't winning. And if you're a Democrat, we've seen this before. You don't give a rat's ass about our country. What you give a rat's ass about is winning. Period. That's all you care about. And it ain't going to be Biden. Is it going to be Kamala? I don't know. But I know this. There is not a chance in hell of Biden winning. Well, we all know that everybody's been lying to us. Hell, my creeper, our resident creeper here in Indianapolis, Greg Doyle, is saying it's a true sign of leadership that he's stepping down. Really? I always thought, and maybe Greg Doyle's been in leadership positions as I don't know what he would be, but anyway, it's always been my impression that as a leader, well, frankly, you should tell the truth. And Biden's never told the truth. And he's too chicken shit right now to even think about facing the American public. And remember, he had everybody lined up, everybody, to lie for him, including his press secretary, KJP. Let's hear from this clown.
It tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here. And instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes, these manipulated videos, and it is, again, done in bad faith.
Yeah, it's just amazing. We got gaslit by everybody, whether it was Pelosi, whether it was Obama, certainly that lady, every media member from MSNBC to NBC to ABC to CBS. I mean, everyone was gaslighting us, telling us, no, what you see, the stumbling, bumbling, can't speak, slurring his words, falling down Joe Biden, is okay. Never seen him stronger, never seen him better, never seen him more engaged. You should see him behind closed doors. And they all lied. Now, there was a time in this country that some people would go to jail for this cover-up. I think that time has passed. I do. But it is amazing that people can get up there, sell their soul for a little job, so this little whatever she is, KJP, can wear her little clothes and stand up in front of the American people and just lie. It's amazing what people will sell their souls for. It is. Friend of mine, Tom Tavender, says first order of business with Biden is we've got to see a proof of life. Is he alive, or is this the movie Dave? If you haven't seen the movie Dave, look it up. Look it up. You'll see the guy died, fake guy, new guy, Kevin Kline. In his chair, they looked alike. Turned out to be a better president than the guy that was the president. It's a good movie. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie. It's a good movie. Gavin Newsom, he of having the sex with his campaign manager's wife, and then having to admit it, and the man who impossibly has ruined the great golden state of California. Impossible to do, but he did. President Biden has been an extraordinary history-making president. Sure has. Record inflation, unbelievable money, record money going to foreign nations for silly wars. A leader who has fought hard for working people and delivered astonishing results for all America. Really? Inflation through the roof. Go to the grocery store. How about the gas station? We're just local. We're just, I don't know, hardworking Americans. I don't see any astonishing results. If I did, hey, look, I'm not even going to lie to you. I do like where he's put my 401k. I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. He will go down as one of the most impactful and selfless presidents. Thank you, Joe Biden. What a bunch of crap that is. Nobody in the history of that office has sold the office more than Joe Biden. No one in history, and this is an unpartisan view. All you got to do is know a little bit about history and go back. Nobody's lied more, been exposed as a liar more than Joe Biden. No one's insulted the American worker more than Joe Biden, whether it's at rallies, whether it's at town halls, you name it. He's done it. Nobody's been worse than Joe Biden, and I didn't even care. Like, when I heard Joe Biden was going to be vice president, my first thought was, and I swear to God, I'm not like a student of politics or anything, but my first thought was, wait a second, that's the guy that got caught lying back in the 80s or 90s. And then I thought, what's Gary Hart next? He of Stupp and Susan Rice? I mean, what are we doing here? But that's the world we live in. And now we got a woman who isn't an African-American, but claims to be an African-American, and African-Americans claim that she's African-American, so that she can run. Coming off her first job being the knee pads of a dude named Willie Brown, who was the most powerful guy in San Francisco, if not all of California. This is madness to me, the people that are running our country. And I'm looking at Joe Biden, and I'm saying to myself, wait a second, he fought hard for himself. How does a guy on a $270,000 a year salary that is supposedly a public servant, buy 5 homes valued at over $3 million each? You explain that to me. That's the only thing I need to know about Joe Biden. That's it. How did that happen? How is a guy that has been ruled mentally incompetent allowed to stand trial allowed to be our president? Now, you tell me it isn't corrupt. Fine. If you can explain those two things, I am in. I am. You tell me he didn't take money. You tell me he didn't have insider trading. We've all seen Joe Biden. We know his actual academic record, so I'm going way back. He's a moron. He's an imbecile. He's a yeller. He's a talker. He's a bully. And like all bullies, he didn't have the stones to stand in front of the nation. Think what you want about Richard Nixon. Dumbest political move ever. Nixon was going to win by forever. And they decided to bug their opponent, the Democratic National Convention headquarters. He got caught. Same thing as Biden. The most powerful people in the Republican Party wanted him out. He stood in front of the nation, had some balls. Biden doesn't have any balls. He's just a bully. Just a liar, a cheat, a talker, a bully, period. And if you don't believe me and you think I'm this crazy right-wing guy, you guys know me. I'm not. I'm just common sense. I have no respect for him. And haven't before because of all the lying. Certainly don't now because he announces his resignation on social media. A medium that didn't even exist 25 years ago? What are you doing? The freaking president. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, regardless of the chaos in the current White House, our adversaries around the globe should be reminded, this is good words, that the United States Congress, the U.S. military, and the American people are fully prepared and committed to defend our interests both at home and abroad. If Joe Biden is not fit to run for president, he is not fit to serve as president. He must resign the office immediately. November 5th cannot arrive soon enough. He's right. Hey, look, we all sit here and talk about stuff, and it's important stuff. But globally, I'm looking at this if I'm Putin or I'm Zelensky or I'm thinking about invading Taiwan, China. And I'm saying to myself, boy, is America weak? What are they going to do? They got a president that they don't even know is alive. This is a mess. Laughing stock. Let's do what we want. No, I'm glad Mike Johnson put that out. He's absolutely right. Now, the problem you have is who is going to be running the country. That would be Kamala Harris. I don't want that even for a minute. You know, one of the great things about being at OutKick is this. We get called right-wing conspiracy theorists. Our guy, again, Greg Doyle, Indy Star. Dakich left Indy Radio and ESPN to go to a right-wing conspiracy theory website. Well, they all come out to be true. Clay Travis has come on our show a few times over the last 6 months, and both times he said the same thing. Joe Biden will not be the nominee. And as all conspiracies go, Emma Jo Morris, one of my favorite guests on our show, she said it today, another conspiracy theory right. Well, Clay turned out to be true. The only reason Joe Biden is being forced out is because he's losing. Yes. If he were winning, Democrats, well, let me preface it, wouldn't give a shit. Democrats and their allies would keep lying to everyone and claim he was sharp as a tack. This is pure desperation after the debate. We're going to be joined by Ricky Cobb, Super Sports on X. As soon as Ricky jumps in here, we'll grab him. But that's absolutely right. You watch the debate, and everybody says this before a debate. Well, 90 minutes isn't going to determine anything. But we all watched Joe Biden walk out there, pale, didn't know where the hell he was. And guess what? It was over. They know it's over. Ricky Cobb, nice enough, from Super 70 Sports, member of the OutKick team coming up here. I'm not going to announce anything because it's not my place, but I'm dying to. Ricky joins me now. Ricky, your reaction when Biden said, screw it, I'm out.
Well, we got a statement, right, Dan? It would be interesting. When Johnson stepped down, he gave a 40-minute talk to the nation, and we got a document that, for all you and I know, Joe Biden may still think that he's the candidate.
That's a great point. I said that about Nixon. I said Nixon was disgraced. And I remember as a little kid, Nixon made the dumbest political move in the history of politics. He was going to win big. Some idiots decided to go bug the DNC. They find out, they lied, cover up bigger than the crime. Nixon out, but he had the balls to stand in front of the nation like you're standing in front of a camera. I'm sitting in front of a camera. He had the balls to address the nation and talk about it. We got no balls in the White House.
Look, the Biden presidency has been a joke in many ways. I don't think that very many of us think that Joe Biden has really been in charge over this time. And who knows what happened behind the scenes to convince Dr. Jill Biden to let go of her death grip on power, because all of the Biden subordinates were towing the line that he was going to stay in, and he was determined. And suddenly we get this message and he's out. So certainly he was leaned on. And it would be nice to hear from Joe Biden, don't you think? If you've got the most important job in the country and you decide that you're going to give it up, and that's a 180 from everything that you've been saying right up until the moment that you issue this letter, I think the least that you can do is talk to everybody who voted for you, right? The democratic process. He's the nominee. He's got the votes. He has the delegates. The convention coming up in a few weeks was just going to be his coronation. And now suddenly everybody who voted for him, I think if I voted for Joe Biden, I'd want to know from the man himself, actually hearing him say it to me, why he's out. I think that the Democratic voters are owed at least that much.
I agree. I totally agree. If you respect the office of the presidency, then respect the office of the presidency, meaning it is the office of the people. And get your ass up, get a shot in the ass or whatever you need. Talk to the people. Here's the problem, though. He can't talk about a cognitive decline or health, can he? Or else people will from all over, all sides will be saying, then get your ass out of the White House immediately. It's dangerous.
Well, we all know why he's out. He's out because of the debate killed him. He blanked out, as we've seen him do many times, even though that was fake news, right? Anytime that you pointed out, hey, he's kind of wandering off into a field somewhere, or he's walking around like a human Roomba and doesn't seem like he knows where to go until somebody ushers him off the stage, or you see him trying to give the same person a handshake 15 seconds maybe after he'd already given that person a handshake. All these little cues that we've seen, all the super clips that we've seen of him just losing his train of thought and babbling. We had to pretend that was just some far right-wing misinformation campaign. And now once he goes out on stage during the debate, you had a lot of people obviously behind the scenes thinking, oh shit, this is really a problem now. And they obviously know that he was a dead man walking into November, particularly with the mojo that Trump has found since the assassination attempt. Biden was just a lamb waiting to go to slaughter, and they obviously decided that they weren't going to roll over like that. So now here we are, and you said it, Dan. The elephant in the room is you're stepping down because your own party believes that you are mentally compromised and you're going to be unable to mount any kind of a campaign at all. And he can't come out and say that, right? Because if he comes out and says, well, I'm slowing down, it's counter to everything that he said to this point, and they don't want to admit that, obviously. So he is in an awkward position. It's a hot mess, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the next several weeks play out, Dan.
You know, I paid a little bit of attention to this, and I'm not sure legally. I asked a couple people that I respect last night, are those around him responsible in a legal sense for all the lying that went on about his health? And I had one guy, lawyer, say absolutely. Said absolutely. You cannot have the president of the United States health. This is why in his opinion, he said, this is why they release the medical records. They release the results of physicals, because by law we're expected to know this. We're expected to have those because he is a public servant in a public office for the people, all that stuff. We are allowed, in fact, it is mandatory that we get the results of his physical. So I'm sitting here saying to myself, all right, can somebody go to jail here for lying about all this stuff? Because so many of his inner circle and so many politicians lied about it. Nobody's got the exact answer, but the answer isn't absolutely no. Let's put it that way, Ricky. You know what I mean? It's not, oh, hell no. No. It's, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and let's talk about what J.D. Vance tweeted yesterday, I think, saying, look, if you got to step down, and we all know he's stepping down because even though he's the last one to know, right? But he's mentally gone. How's he going to fulfill his duties as president? But he's stepping down because he's not all there anymore, but yet somehow he's going to be able to run the country for the next 6 months? I think we should have a conversation about that, because how in the world can we say that you don't have the mental firepower to engage in a successful campaign, but yet in the meantime, we're going to let you be the leader of the free world? What sense does that make at all?
It doesn't make sense. That makes absolutely no sense. The only problem is I don't want Kamala Harris ever as the president of the United States, even, I think, with a compromised Biden. So let's move it forward. You mentioned Donald Trump and the momentum. Part of his momentum, certainly, obviously, the assassination attempt and his reaction, captured the nation. But it also was a little bit of a move to kind of bring people together. Not a total move, but a little bit of a move. I think that resonated. Should the Republicans continue on that path? Because I'm seeing a lot of vitriol and a lot of smear immediately at Kamala Harris. Should Trump and others in this campaign say, wait a second, let's continue to unify this thing?
Well, the Trump campaign, they've got a lot of decisions to make here on the fly in response to what the Democrats are going to do. And look, I saw AOC the other day calling Trump a racist and a neo-Nazi. And that's post-assassination attempt. So all of the lip service that's being paid about, well, it's great that you can call him a Nazi, you can call him Hitler, you can call him this, you can call him that, you can marginalize his followers as these far-right extremists, and then say, well, hey, it's a good thing that he survived and we should all come together. And then you wait apparently 36 to 48 hours, and then you just go back to saying all the same shit about him that you were saying before the assassination attempt. Look, Trump, I think, definitely at the convention, and to some amount of criticism, as you know, Dan, the speech was maybe not exactly what people were expecting. It went on for a long time. It was a pretty subdued speech by Donald Trump standards. He had his moments in there where he was kind of his typical self, but I think that he has been trying to strike a tone. It's hard to believe, right? In 2024, that Donald Trump would be running a campaign where he's really viewing himself as a unifier. That definitely was not really a part of the script in 2016 or 2020. But here we are now against Joe Biden. I think that Trump was going to be able to run a campaign that was very much fairways and greens. Just don't shoot yourself in the foot, right? Just don't make mistakes, and you got this, because you've got a candidate that now the first thing everybody thinks of when they hear Joe Biden's name is that he's not all there. So just don't flub this up, bring in some independents, and you're going to build a coalition that could even be, what would amount to a landslide by the standards of the past several elections. Now, with Kamala, you're going to have a different dynamic because, right, instead of the elderly white guy, we've got the person of color, female. It's going to be a different kind of energy, younger. And so he's going to have to kind of switch gears a little bit, I think. I do believe that there are going to need to be some adjustments from Trump in how he approaches this. But I think Kamala is a very flawed candidate, Dan. If you look back to 2020, there was a whole lot of buzz around her coming out of the primaries, and she did nothing. And one of the reasons that Biden ended up getting the nomination in 2020 is because Kamala was such a disappointment when she was somewhere near front runner status, or at least a lot of people expected that of her. So I don't think she's a great campaigner. We know that she's not a great public speaker. So I think that the vulnerabilities are definitely there for the Republicans to exploit, but it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment, definitely, because we don't normally see at this stage of the game, you end up having a different opponent.
Yeah, you know what? Two things on that. I thought Trump's speech was awful. I did. I thought, you know what? He killed his own momentum in certain ways. In fact, I went to bed. I'm like, all right, okay. Second thing, Ricky, and I don't know how to put this delicately. If I were him, I wouldn't let that assassination attempt go to bed yet. I would. There'd be a lot of my presidential propaganda or campaign ads, whatever, with that picture. I'm not letting that thing get forgotten. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not, because that's something that resonated with all Americans. But I did think that I thought his speech was kind of a downer, at least to me.
Well, that seems to be the consensus. I think the speech may have played better to moderates. If you're looking for the people who voted for Donald Trump are going to vote for Donald Trump, right? So he doesn't really need to charge you up, because he's already.
I didn't vote for him. I'll be honest. I didn't vote for him. I voted for me. I wrote me in.
Yeah, well, hey, look, I didn't know that was an option, Dan. I might have been the best choice that I could have made. If somebody would have told me that I could go Dakich, I would have done it, I think. But look, I mean, the people that are sold on him are sold on him.
Yeah.
If he can pull just a small amount of people who went the other direction, who either went third party, didn't vote, or some folks who have voted for Hillary and or Biden, that is what he really needs to do. And maybe a calmer, more warm and friendly version of Donald Trump would appeal to those people. So I don't think that the speech was necessarily, in my view, as much of a disappointment as other people have viewed it as, because I think maybe it just wasn't really a speech that appealed to the base. He's so good at going out and just throwing red meat to his base out on the campaign trail and at rallies, and people have come to expect that. And so by those standards, it was a little flat for sure. But other people who maybe have not been able to palate Trump in the past, it might have appealed more to them.
I agree. Now, last thing, Ricky, before I let you go, a lot of people in Indiana know that Pete Buttigieg was a horseshit mayor, but he was gay, and he was public, and he got married, and my niece actually was his husband's press secretary and loved him, thought he was a great guy, but Pete Buttigieg hadn't done jack shit, and I heard already today how he is so qualified. I'm like, what's he qualified for? But think about it from this perspective. A Harris, woman of color, Buttigieg, gay dude ticket across America. Does that resonate with Americans? Because neither of them have a record of doing jack shit. So you're just going to basically vote on what maybe they possibly could do or their ethnicity slash sexual preference. You think that resonates, that ticket?
I don't think that would be a great strategy. Probably. I would expect that we're going to see probably some white dude from Central Casting as the running mate.
Probably.
To balance things out. I've heard the governor of Pennsylvania is a strong contender. We'll see. They're going to need to win Pennsylvania, or certainly at least they've got to put a dent there in that. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, those states that play so importantly in all of the recent election cycles. And so I don't think that going with that ticket would be wise. But if I were a Trump supporter, I would probably be licking my chops at the idea of Mayor Pete being the running mate.
Mayor Pete. They call him Pothole Pete in South Bend, where he was the mayor. They did. That was his name, Pothole Pete. Hey, Ricky, I'm not announcing nothing until you do, brother, but I love that you're on this team, and I love to be on the same team as you, my friend. Thank you for coming on, giving your insight. Great stuff.
Hey, thank you, my brother. We could always form the OutKick super ticket, Dan, so think about it.
That's right.
But if America needs that third alternative, I'll be your running mate.
I'll be your running mate. Hey, look, you are the most popular man on X. Apparently, X is where presidents go. They don't go in front of the nation. X is where presidents go to announce important stuff, and you are America's most popular. So I am the Veep because I just want to play golf and get my handicap down. I don't want to do any actual work. I'm too old, Ricky.
Well, see,
Thanks,
that's
my
what
brother. Thank you.
Kamala's going to have to figure that out. She had the good job. She may not want this one.
That's right. I've seen the movie Veep, or the TV show. It's awesome. Thanks, Ricky. There he goes.
Thanks,
Ricky Cobb, Super 70 Sports. It's the best follow on Twitter. I was telling 4 or 5 of my buddies yesterday after we got done playing golf, we were talking about Twitter, because some of them are on it, but they just on it for the hell of it. They don't really follow it, and they were on it yesterday because of, Biden being too chicken shit to face the nation. So he put it on X. So anyway, long story short, they're like, okay, who's a good follow here? And the first person I said was OutKick. Second was Super 70 Sports and Ricky Cobb, and he's fantastic, really fantastic. And I'm so excited that he is coming here with us sooner than later. Let's just put it that way. This was interesting. As interesting as it can be, the WNBA All-Stars played the Olympic team in the All-Star game. That's smart. That's how the Olympics / All-Star WNBA All-Star game was, and I thought that was brilliant. Get the Olympic team experience playing against good players, really good players. Well, the Olympic team got its ass beat. They were down by as many as 20 for most of the second half, and Arike Ogunbowale was a stud at Notre Dame. She averaged about 25. Somehow she wasn't on the Olympic team, and she just kicked everybody's ass. I mean, she dropped 34-21 in the third quarter, turned a game that was going back and forth into a rout. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese were fantastic. Caitlin Clark got herself 10 assists. Angel Reese had a double-double, 10 and 12. The event was praised for its competitive spirit and Game 7 type feel that those that are dying to just promote, not tell the truth. But I got to tell you, it kind of was. It beat the living hell out of the NBA All-Star Game, the McDonald's All-Star Game. No one's ever watched in the history of the world the WNBA All-Star Game until this game. And it's kind of right. No, it's kind of right. Yeah. Let's hear from Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Here we go.
Now, Angel, I know you're never asked questions about Caitlin, and she's never asked questions about you, but how about the experience of being teammates and actually getting to be on the floor together? Because you did have quite a few minutes of run there together in this second quarter.
Yeah, it's so cool. I know when she gets the ball, I'm running to look for the ball because I know she's going to throw it. So she's been great to play with. I mean, the future, we're going to be playing with each other a lot. Hopefully in 4 years we can be Olympians together. So.
There you go. What the hell? Can't we all just get along? Rodney King back in the 80s or 90s, whenever the hell that was, the 90s. Can't we all just get along? Paul George claims that NBA legends implored the current All-Stars to breathe life back into their All-Star team. Here's PG Dumbass.
Long-ass speech, right? Yeah. All the heavyweights come down. Larry Bird, Dr. J, Ricky. They all come into the locker room and they're like, hey, we need y'all to honor this game. We need y'all to play harder. We need y'all to go against each other. Bring back the life of all-star games, right? Everybody was like, nah, fuck that.
Totally.
But it was like an emphasis going into All-Star Weekend.
I know, I heard.
Yeah, Paul George just continues to be an idiot. I mean, these idiots, their fifth grade education, they're now going to go tell you to vote. Paul George, who doesn't respect the All-Star game enough, doesn't respect basketball, doesn't respect the legends, is about 3 minutes away, among others, telling us to go vote. These dudes are idiots, man. These dudes are stone-cold dumbasses that have no respect for anything other than money. Yeah, hey, Bird, hey, guys that set the table for us, hey, fellas, F that. Now, Paul George is the perfect guy to say that. He is, because he is a fraud. He is one of the biggest douchebags in the history of NBA basketball. He's kind of the Joe Biden. No, he kind of is. Kind of the Joe Biden of NBA basketball. He is. He's a bullshitter. He's a talker. He thinks he's done some things. He thinks he's been somebody, and he hadn't done squat. And all he's done is crap the bed late in games. So he is absolutely perfect to be the guy that acts that kind of stupid. Cheryl Miller is not happy with the new WNBA media deal. Here's Cheryl Miller.
Those lines, there's reporting about a $2.2 billion media rights deal out there.
There's rumor of it?
Reporting about the next media rights deal.
Then if you, I'm not great with numbers, low ball.
Why do you say that?
That's a low ball. You're saying how much?
$2.2 billion over 11
Not
years.
enough. Not even close. Now, I'm not trying to inflate it a whole lot, but a 2's nice. An 8 would be better. That's what I'm talking about, because they know. They know. And we certainly have come a long way. And I'm not about gouging, but it's a long time overdue. And we're going to continue to get better and better. All you have to do is look at, college basketball and what's coming next, the next wave of excitement. And you have this now, and pretty soon we're going to add another gold medal. So women's basketball is in a great place right now.
Just what do you need to do then in your mind to go from 2.2 billion to an 8 billion, as you say? What needs to happen?
We need tough and fair negotiators and visionaries, and we need a bully. We need a bully behind the table that's willing to say, we'll break up the pieces and go from there. But there's a certain number bigger than 2 that we want.
Yeah, of course you want it, but I guarantee you the guys and girls that negotiate this are laughing at her. I mean, she's saying what she's supposed to say. I mean, come on. But we want more than two. You're lucky to get two. You got one star, lady. I mean, you think whatever you want. You got one star driving the bus. Has not been a single million view game since '08 until Caitlin Clark came here. What if Caitlin Clark turns her ankle? What if Caitlin Clark gets a knee injury, gets in a car wreck? What if Caitlin Clark can't play? Cheryl Miller, it's great. You sit up there and you're all Brittany Griner looking, and we need a bully and a go. You're lucky you're even at you're lucky you're even at a seat at the table. Lucky. But I tell you this all the time: no good deed goes unpunished. Be careful what you wish for, asking for more. I mean, if I were Adam Silver, I'd say if I hear any more of this, we'll just shut this down and go a different direction with you. We'll give you 1%. We'll give you 0.5%. I'm serious. I mean, at some point, hey, look, we get it. Caitlin Clark's running the show. We understand. There have been 14 games over 1 million viewers that Caitlin Clark has played in. That's it. Nobody else. Stop it. Stop it. But it's cute. It's nice. And we all sit there and we worship. Oh, my God. This is Cheryl. I don't give two shits about Cheryl Miller. But I love when they act like they know. I'm not good with numbers, but I'm just going to throw out 8. Yeah. Good for you. I saw that and I thought that was so ridiculous. I could not help but laugh. I couldn't. I love when somebody gets pulled out of the cobwebs to get in front of a camera and gets real serious. And then now Cheryl Miller goes away. No. Real serious people are doing these negotiations. Serious people. Not some little girl that can play basketball or some little guy that can play basketball. Just remember that when these idiots in the NBA tell you to go vote. That's the funniest thing ever. We're not having any games because we want you to go vote. Oh, okay. Man, I haven't heard a word from LeBron James or any of these NBA stars about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. I thought they were bipartisan political activists. Huh. They're full of shit. They're racist, and they're really stupid.